Hey y'all, it's Joe, just Joe, and I'm here today to do a look into the story about Furry Friend Friday. Today's furry friend is my sweet, sweet Lucky. He's an all black cat with just a few little white hairs on his chest. If you like this kind of video and you would like to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe below. And let's just get into the video. So I'm going to go into this is new to me. I'm going to go into the Ofra Empowered palette. And she looks like this. And I'm going to tell a story about my sweet black short-haired cat named Lucky. So we had, at the moment we had two cats inside and 8 kittens outside, 2 feral mothers, and a whole bunch of feral cats, and one old tomcat named Mr. Wilson. I'm just going to go into this shade right here called, let's see, I'm going to Boss Baby. And I'm going to use a Fenty 230 blending brush. And I'm just going to take that in the crease. And we were not looking for any more cats. We had fixed so many ferals. We were doing our best to just keep up at the moment. We both had full-time jobs that required quite a bit of overtime. So it was not in the plan to be rescuing any more fur babies. But I went outside to check on the kittens and saw this huge, well, looked like huge, fluff ball following Mr. Wilson everywhere. It was just like a black cotton ball. And I was like, oh no. But in my mind, I thought, okay, that's somebody's kitten. It looks well fed. I think at the moment I was giving myself any excuse not to take in this kitten because we were just overwhelmed. And it was extremely hard to say no, but I was like, okay, it looks fat. So I tried to go up to it. It ran back into the woods, and I'm like, well, the kitten's feral anyway. I don't know if I can catch it, because I was debating whether to catch it to get it fixed, see what sex it was, all these things. And finally, I just made myself go inside because I didn't see it anywhere after I tried to approach it, and that was that. Well, Jason got home later that night. I think it was around 11, and I saw the kitten probably 5 p.m. when Jason got home, about 11 p.m. And as soon as Jason come in, I was bawling. It was too dark. It was a black kitten. So he said, well, let's just see how you feel about the whole situation tomorrow. There's no use in trying to discover or find the cat anymore tonight. It's a black kitten. It's black outside. We just don't have enough sources to find it. So, of course, the next day comes, and I'm still bawling over this little kitten. So, Jason got off that day. I think I was off that day, and Jason got off about 4 o'clock, I think. So he's like, okay, well, it probably won't happen, but we'll check the woods, see if we find it. And I'm still thinking, well, it's probably somebody's kitten. It looked so fat. Well, we go into the woods, and there's this little black kitten meowing at the top of its lungs. I mean, not meowing, I'm sorry. It was like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like almost a cough, but it was doing all its might. But anyways, what I would call a lucky meow, it was trying to do. And so we got the kitten, and to my horror, all that what I thought was fat was just kitten fur. He was extremely long haired and fuzzy when he was born, or when we found him, which the vet said about 3 weeks old. So we grabbed him, and I could just feel the fleas crawling underneath my hands. I felt how skinny he was. I was freaking out. So I tried to give him some wet food. He just looked at it. I tried the bottle. He just couldn't. It was like he knew what to do to drink the milk. It just wasn't happening. So, of course, here we go to the vet with another kitten. Our poor vet, he probably didn't know what in the world to think forever. But after a while, he actually became one of our main sources of helping these animals. But anyway, so we get to the vet, and he's doing his little comb and all this stuff for the fleas. And because I'd had such success with giving the kittens baths and making sure they stayed at a right temperature, because you got to be careful giving a kitten a bath because they can't regulate their own temperature. He said if I wanted to try a bath, that the kitten really needed the fleas gone. And then he said, had we had any success on feeding it? And I told him what was going on, no, and how the kitten had, I'm going to go into this color right here, green light, and how the kitten had tried, I thought, because sometimes kittens just don't understand how to do a bottle, but I told him it seemed like he kind of understood what he was supposed to do. He just couldn't get it done. And so when the vet checked him out, it seemed to be his throat somebody had attempted to crush his throat. Now, the reason why he knew it wasn't that he had had a collar or any other thing or got hung on something was all the fur was intact. There was just bruising underneath and some, like knots, not knots. Like, you know how, well, maybe a knot, like under bruising is knotty, kind of. And so he was pretty sure somebody had tried to choke the little kitten out. So here we go with this kitten that we don't even know if it's going to be able to eat. The vets pretty much gave us just, the vet knowing me, just told me not to get my hopes up. He didn't want to see me hurt again. But we got the little kitten home. First thing I wanted to do was get something in it. So we used an eyedropper, and I got the amount the vet said to give him at that time. And he seemed pretty happy about that whole situation. So I was like, okay, I've got this little kitten. I don't know. It's loving on me, so I'm assuming it's pretty happy. Because I still hadn't heard anything except that kind of coffee squeak that he had done. And I'm just putting this darker green in the crease and outer V. And so we got some milk in him. I decided to do a lukewarm bath with Dawn and then hold him in a heating pad on low. So we got all the fleas off that we could. The water was just totally black and some like black crusties, and it was red from where the fleas had bit the poor little thing. But by the time I got everything said and done, it was about an hour and a half later, and so it was time to feed him again. He did pretty well on the dropper. I was giving very little at a time to get it down his throat. And so we were so lucky we ended up not having to use a feeding tube because I was so terrified if we used a feeding tube that where his little throat had been crushed that I would hit something. But so the only thing we kept hearing was a little cough like thing. Well, the cough cleared up. Still no purrs, no regular kitten meows. And we went back to the vet because I didn't know what was going on. I never had a cat that didn't meow well, the vet said cats naturally don't meow. It's something they do for people, which I don't know how. I guess that was in his studies. I don't know how you know something like that. So maybe that was it. He said, of course, with his throat, maybe the vocal cords had been affected. So, because I'm already attached to this kitten, we're not adopting this kitten out. So, because of the kitten situation and it being a solid black cat, I decided to call the cat Lucky. Because they're supposed to be unlucky, but it seemed like he found the right people at the right time. So we just kept on, and I think it was about 2 weeks in, he was able to do the bottle, which normally he should have been able to do wet food by then, but the throat situation kind of delayed things. And I think 2 weeks after that, he was strong enough to finally eat wet food. I'm just taking that original shade underneath the water line. And I'm going to take the green light, darker shade, and go about halfway in. So we learned, of course, that Lucky just was never going to meow. And it was kind of sad, and we never heard him purr. And we just thought that was the end of Lucky's story. But come to find out, well, first, he became best friends with Sunny, one of our cats that has passed at this moment. And Sunny was 17 when he passed, so he had a good life. But I'm going to use the grand shade, that brown shade, just in the outer V a little bit to darken things up. And we thought, well, that's fine. He's got a good home. He's got a best friend with Sunny. And if we never hear him meow, it's just part of his personality. Well, 4 years later, I don't know exactly what was going on, but I'm sure I was just playing around with the cats and was having a good time, and I heard purring, which isn't uncommon when you have a lot of cats. But I noticed I thought it was Lucky purring. So I got closer and closer. I started loving on Lucky and put my head, my head was right up in his throat area. And sure enough, he was purring. And it wasn't just a couple weeks later that I'm going to take that middle highlight green, the green highlight shade. It's called Wall Street. I'm going to put that on my lower lid. And he was purring. And a couple weeks later, I heard his first meow. And his little meow I call it his meow, but it goes, er, er. And that, to this day, that's his meow. He's like, er, er. But he's so happy when he meows and when he purrs that it just melts my heart. He doesn't have a crazy story like Kit Kat or Precious, really, but that little meow makes me the happiest ever. And like I said, he is now almost 15. And he still has that little squeak for meow. He purrs like a normal cat now. That he didn't start purring normally probably for a month. Not a month. A year after the first purr we heard, which is when he was 4 years old. But he got the purr down, but like I said, to this day, he still doesn't have, I guess, what people would say a proper meow. But I love his little squeak. And he is no longer weird about eating. He is now 23 pounds, which the vet said he didn't know what he was crossed with, because we didn't know the mama or daddy to Lucky. But he's just a big cat. Some cats are just larger. That he could lose some weight, obviously, but that most of when you touch Lucky, he's a solid muscle block. It's not like when you have a fat cat and they're kind of the belly hangs and all that. So that's Lucky's little story, and we adore him. He's our gentle giant. He's the Great Dane of the house, we say, because he's so big. But he gets around great. He's just now starting to get a little arthritis, but the vet said that's to be expected, usually around the age. And we just adore him. I need to get a pencil real quick for my eyes. And we'll use the Makeup Forever in, I think it's Ebony, let's see. Yeah. And so, he's just the sweetest baby ever now, and a lot of people do come, like salespeople or whatever, and if he goes to the door, they get scared because he's so big and he's a black cat, but he's just a big old teddy bear. He couldn't hurt a fly, which is pretty accurate because he loves his toys. He loves catching milk rings. He does not like bugs. The other cats will chase bugs all around the house. Lucky does not like bugs. I have no idea why. I'm just putting that in the water line. This is the Makeup Forever Aqua Resist color pencils. They do not budge. The best pencils you can get. I'm just putting that there. And I think I'm going to take a little bit just right beside the lashes. And that's Lucky's story. He's a great baby. He plays fetch, which my husband discovered. You throw a toy, not only does he sometimes catch it in the air, he brings it back to you and jumps in your lap and drops it in your lap. Which, I don't know how he learned that, but he's smart as everything. When he was younger, he used to, at a standing position, not running, he would jump to the top of the fridge in one jump. Used to scare me to death. But he always made it. Even at 14 and starting to get a little arthritis, he can make crazy jumps. And he's just a good baby all around. There's not supposed to be any rain, so I'm not gonna use waterproof mascara. I'm gonna use my Roller Lash by Benefit. I don't think I'm gonna put falsies on. I haven't been wearing falsies a lot. But we have rescued so many babies over the years. But those I call my personal babies. I haven't, the ones I've talked about, I didn't plan on adopting. Well, I might have planned on adopting out in the beginning, but for whatever reason, whatever me and the cat has been through, I decided that they were going to be one of my personal fur babies. Usually it's because of some degree of disability. Like, even though Lucky Ito's on now, I have to watch him because he does vomit very easily. I have to keep on top of that because it's okay if he vomits food, but once he starts vomiting, if he vomits clear, he has to get to the vet. He has to take probiotics to help clean out his stomach. I mean, it's just little things really with him, but you do have to stay on top of it. And I was always so scared somebody else wouldn't stay on top of it. So obviously that's why he's my baby. And I'm going to use the Marc Jacobs Black Cherry Baby Enamored Lip Gloss. And this does have color to it. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed Lucky's story. And I hope to see y'all here Monday. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're making good decisions. And I will see you next time, guys. Love y'all. Bye.